Okay, today now I am going to discuss the law of conservation of mechanical energy according to work energy theorem. According to work energy theorem, net work done by all the forces on a body. Net work done by all the forces means the forces acts on a body may be conservative forces, non-conservative forces, whatever it may be. The work done by all the forces acts on a body. That means net work done by all the force on a body is equal to change in kinetic energy of a body. No, change in kinetic energy of a body means half mv square minus a half mu square. Or in general, net work done on a body is equal to final kinetic energy of a body minus initial kinetic energy of a body. Okay, this is equation 1. Here, net work done on the body means work done by conservative forces, maybe work done by normal reaction, or work done by frictional forces, work done by some any other forces, external forces, etc. Work done by external forces, etc. This is equal to change in kinetic energy of a body in general. In general. So net work done by all the forces means work done by conservative forces, work done by non-conservative forces, normal reaction, work done by frictional forces, work done by external forces, whatever the types of forces, or work done by spring force, whatever it may be. Work done by spring force means that is the conservative force only. Work done by gravitational force means that is the conservative force only. Okay, so the work done by all kinds of forces is equal to change in kinetic energy of a body. Change in kinetic energy of a body. If on a system only conservative forces acts and work is done on the system only by conservative forces, no other forces are there. In that case, if work is done only by conservative forces like gravity, only conservative forces, in brackets you write gravity, gravitational force. If work is done only by conservative forces and no other forces exist, no other forces, maybe normal reaction, frictional force, external forces, etc., they are not present, no other forces exist, comma, then work done by normal reaction, work done by friction, work done by external force, all are equal to 0. No, therefore in such case work done by conservative force is equal to change in kinetic energy of a body. That means final kinetic energy of a body minus initial kinetic energy of a body. Final kinetic energy of a body minus initial kinetic energy of a body. But what is the work done by conservative force on a body? What is the work done by conservative force on a body in terms of potential energy? You tell me. Yesterday I said work done by conservative force on a body is equal to minus of delta U. I said minus delta U. I said. Okay. So work done by conservative force on a body is equal to minus of delta U, which is equal to final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy. Minus of delta U means final potential energy minus initial potential energy is equal to Kf minus Ki. Okay, where Ki is the initial kinetic energy of the system, Kf is the final kinetic energy of the system. Therefore, here you see you bring the minus Ki to left, Ki minus Uf minus some means plus Ui. So plus Ui you keep here, minus Ui you bring to right, then it becomes plus Uf. Kf is already exist here, so Kf plus Uf. Here you see whenever the work is done by the conservative, work is done only by the conservative force on a system, then the potential energy and initial potential energy and initial kinetic energy of the entire system is equal to final kinetic energy, final potential energy of the entire system. Sum of the final kinetic energy and final potential energy of the system. That means here sum of the kinetic energy and potential energy is called the mechanical energy. That's why whenever the work is done by the conservative force alone on a system, then the total mechanical energy does not change. Whatever the initial mechanical energy of the system, which is Ki plus Ui, the final mechanical energy of the system also remains the same. That's why whenever the work is done by the conservative force alone, the total mechanical energy remains constant or conserved. That is the law of conservation of mechanical energy, not law of conservation of energy. Right? Apra Dheeraj, video sharing Abu. Okay. So therefore, total mechanical energy remains constant. Total mechanical energy remains constant when work is done by only conservative force. Only conservative force. Conservative force. That means whenever the work is done by the conservative force, the kinetic energy may be changes into potential energy, or potential energy may be changes into kinetic energy. Because you see, initial kinetic energy of the body is this one, but whenever the work is done by the conservative force, the final kinetic energy of the body becomes kf. That means kinetic energy changes, potential energy also changes, but total mechanical energy of the system remains constant at any time. So whenever work is done by the conservative force on a system, then the total mechanical energy remains constant, but one form of energy will be changed into one form of mechanical energy is changes into another form of mechanical energy, but total mechanical energy remains constant or conserved. So this is the law of conservation of mechanical energy. Law of conservation of energy means energy can neither be created nor destroyed. One form will be converted into another form. In case of law of conservation of energy, even friction work is done by the friction also, the total energy does not change. Whenever the work is done by the friction, some energy is lost. That loss of energy is converted into heat energy. That means there is no loss of energy. One form will be converted into another form. That is the law of conservation of any kind of energy. Okay. So here I discussed only the law of conservation of mechanical energy. Now we have to show law of conservation of mechanical energy is true in case of vertically projected body or freely falling body, or in case of a oscillating simple pendulum. Is the law of conservation of mechanical energy is true or not? We have to verify. Okay, that is the today's topic. So we have to prove the law of conservation of mechanical energy in case of vertically projected body first. So this derivation is important for IP, and this concept is very, very important for objective also. Now, first one, in case of vertically projected body, or vertically thrown body, in case of vertically projected body, we have to show the law of conservation of mechanical energy. Okay, suppose one body is thrown vertically upwards with a certain velocity, say u, from the point A. So this point A is called point of projection. Whenever the body is moving upwards here, as the gravity or gravitational force of attraction or weight of the body acts vertically downwards direction, the velocity of the body goes on decrease, and whenever it reaches the point B, its velocity becomes, say, v1, and when it reaches the highest point C, its velocity becomes 0. So whenever the velocity becomes 0, that point is the highest point. Okay. So here, suppose this point B is at a height, say, y, this point C is at a height, say, h. That is the maximum height. Now, at any point in their path, whenever the body is thrown vertically upwards, by which force work is done? When the body is thrown vertically upwards, by which force work is done here? W is work done by conservative force is equal to minus delta U. Already I said yesterday, no? Sahit, I said work done by conservative force is equal to minus delta U. Already yesterday I said. Okay, you see yesterday. Yesterday class. Already said yesterday only. Okay. Already in last class I explained. So work done by here, whenever the body is thrown vertically upwards, work is done by gravity. That means conservative force. Okay, work is done by gravity. So that's why work is done by the conservative force. When work is done by the conservative force, okay, when work is done by the conservative force, total mechanical energy does not change. Total mechanical energy does not change. Okay, but whenever the body is thrown vertically upwards, as long as the body moving upwards, as velocity decreases, kinetic energy decreases. But at the same time, whenever the body moving upwards, its height increases. No, when height increases, potential energy increases. When a body is at a height h from the surface of the earth, what is the potential energy of the body? When the body is at a height h from the surface of the earth, if we treat the potential energy at the surface of the earth is 0, then when it is at a height h, what is the potential energy? mgh. Okay, mgh. Now you take the reference as the ground, reference level as the ground, reference level. At this reference level, you treat the potential energy 0. So initial potential energy is equal to 0. Okay. Now at A, what is the kinetic energy of the body? At A, kinetic energy of the body. As the body is thrown vertically upwards with a velocity u, kinetic energy is half m square. Potential energy u is equal to, at A, as it is almost on, it is on the ground, on the reference level, the potential energy at this point can be treated as 0. Okay, therefore total energy, total mechanical energy at A is equal to sum of the kinetic energy and potential energy. Therefore total energy at A is equal to half mu square plus 0. Therefore total energy at A is equal to half mu square. This is the total mechanical energy at the point of projection. So at the point of projection, it is having only kinetic energy. That is the total energy. Next, when it reaches the point B, when it reaches the point B, as the velocity is v1, kinetic energy is equal to half m v1 square, and potential energy is equal to, as the body reaches the point B, up to what height the body raises means y. That's why potential energy is equal to mg into y. Okay, therefore total energy means sum of these two we can write. But here answer is total energy means sum of these two. Sum of these two is equal to this one or not, we cannot say. That's why we have to convert everyone in terms of u only. Okay, so here when you consider the motion from A to B, initial velocity u is equal to u only. Acceleration, as the body is thrown vertically upwards, acceleration is minus z. Displacement s is equal to y, and velocity at this point is equal to v is equal to v1. Okay, therefore what is the relation among them? From v square minus u square is equal to 2as, implies v square means v1 square minus u square is equal to a means minus z into s means y. So therefore v1 square is equal to u square minus 2zy. Now we substitute this value in this equation 1. Sorry, in this equation. Therefore kinetic energy is equal to half m v1 square. That is equal to half m into v1 square means we got u square minus 2z into y. Therefore kinetic energy k is equal to half mu square minus 2 to cancel mz into y. Therefore total energy at B is say EB is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy at this point. Kinetic energy at this point is equal to, we got this one, half mu square minus mzy plus potential energy means mgy. So plus mgy minus mgy cancel. Therefore total energy at B is equal to half mu square. No, so this is say equation 2. So in case of vertically projected body, total energy at A is equal to half mu square, total energy at B is equal to half mu square. Similarly, what is the total energy at C? We have to calculate. So at C, so here at C, as velocity becomes 0, which is the highest point, kinetic energy becomes 0. Potential energy is equal to, whenever the body reaches the highest point, up to how high the body rises means h we imagine. That's why potential energy is mg into h. Total energy means sum of these two. Sum of these two means you will get mgh. Is this mgh is equal to this half m square or not? We cannot say. That's why we have to change them. So when you consider the motion from A to C, initial velocity is u, final velocity is equal to 0, acceleration A is equal to, as the body is thrown vertically upwards, acceleration is minus z, and displacement of the body. When the body travels from A to B, A to C, then displacement is equal to maximum height reached. So relation among them is v square minus u square is equal to 2as. V square means 0, minus u square means u square only, 2, a means minus z, into s means h. So minus minus cancel. Therefore, implies h is equal to, we can write u square by 2z. No? Therefore, you substitute in this formula. Therefore, u is equal to mzh. That is equal to mz into h means u square by 2z. Gz cancel. That is equal to half mu square. Therefore, total energy at C is equal to sum of the kinetic energy and potential energy. Kinetic energy is 0 plus potential energy is equal to half mu square. Therefore, total energy at C is equal to half mu square. It is equation 3. So, in case of vertically projected body, when the body is thrown vertically upwards, work is done by the gravity. No doubt. Gravity is the conservative force. That's why when work is done by the conservative force on a body, in case of vertically projected body, the total mechanical energy remains constant. You see at A, that means at the point of projection, total energy is half m square. At the middle, this one. At the highest point also, total energy is equal to this one. That means total mechanical energy remains constant at any point in case of vertically projected body, as work is done by the conservative force, which is the work is done by the gravity. That's why total mechanical energy remains constant. So it was proved in case of vertically projected body. Similarly, we have to prove the same in case of freely falling body also. In case of freely falling body also, we have to prove this one. Okay. Second one, in case of freely falling body. Second one, in case of freely falling body. Of course, in case of vertically projected body, work done by gravity is negative, no? Because the body is moving upwards, that's why displacement upwards, gravity downwards. That's why work done by conservative force is negative. In case of freely falling body, when work done by the gravity is negative, then potential energy of the body increases. When work done by the gravity is positive, that means while coming down, gravitational force in downwards direction and the displacement of the body also in downwards direction. In that case, work done by gravity is positive. Because of that, the body comes down. Whenever the body comes down, height of the body from the ground decreases. So potential energy decreases. That's why whenever the work done by the conservative force is positive, potential energy decreases. When work done by the conservative force is negative, potential energy increases. Okay. Right. In case of freely falling body, we have to prove the law of conservation of mechanical energy principle. Mechanical energy only, not law of conservation of energy. Right? Meeku ennisaర్లు చెప్పాలరా వీడియో ఆపేసేమని. Okay. Now, suppose one body is dropped from a height h. One body is dropped from a height h. One body is dropped from a height h from the point A. Okay, while coming down, because of gravitational force of attraction, when the body is released, its velocity is 0. Whenever the body reaches the point B in their path, its velocity becomes say v1. Before reaches the ground, its velocity becomes say v. Okay, whenever the body reaches the point B, the distance up to which the body travels downwards is say y. Just to imagine. Okay, now here as the body is coming down, acceleration is plus z only, no? So now when the mass at A, when the body is at A, as the body is just released, its velocity is 0. That's why kinetic energy is equal to half mu square. U 0. That's why kinetic energy is 0. Okay, potential energy. Suppose this ground up to which the body reaches, that is a reference line, reference level or reference line. At this point, you take the potential energy 0. At the reference level, potential energy is 0. At the reference level means from which level the heights of the body are measured, that level can be treated as the reference level. So we take this as the reference level. Then from this reference level, when the body is at A, it is at a height h. That's why potential energy is equal to mg into h. Therefore, total energy at A is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. Therefore, EA is equal to kinetic energy 0 plus potential energy mg into h. Therefore, total energy of the freely falling body at the point from which it is released is equal to mg into h. This is total energy at A. It is equation 1. Next, at B. Whenever the body is at B, as the velocity is V1, we imagine kinetic energy is equal to half m V1 square and potential energy is equal to, whenever the body is here, at what height the body lies? At what height the body lies from the ground? Because height must be measured from the ground only. That is equal to, from h you subtract y, then h minus y, no? So body is at a height h minus y. That's why potential energy is minus mg into h minus y. Okay, this is equal to mg h minus mg into y. Okay, therefore, here, suppose if you add these two, sum of these two is the total energy. Is it equal to this one or not? We cannot say directly. That's why you have to change this v1y in terms of h. Okay, when you consider the motion from A to B, initial velocity is equal to 0. Whenever it reaches the point here, as the body comes down freely, acceleration is equal to plus z, displacement is equal to y, and velocity acquired before it reaches is equal to v is equal to v1. Therefore, relation among them, v square minus u square is equal to 2as. V square means v1 square minus u square means 0, 2, a means z, s means y. So therefore, v1 square is equal to 2z into y. Therefore, kinetic energy k is equal to half m v1 square. That is equal to half m into v1 square means 2z into y, you can write. 2 cancel. Therefore, mz into y. Therefore, total energy at A is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. Kinetic energy is equal to mgy plus potential energy is equal to mgh minus mgy. Mgh minus mg into y. Minus mgy plus mgy cancel. So total energy at A is equal to mg into h. This is total energy at B, no? Total energy at B, not A. We calculated the total energy at B. That's why total energy at B is equal to mgh. Total energy at B is equal to mgh. This is equation 2. Next, before reaches the ground, that means at C, kinetic energy is equal to, before reaches the ground, if V is the velocity acquired, then kinetic energy is equal to half m v square. Potential energy is equal to mg into, before reaches the ground, as it is just nearer to the surface of the earth, height of the body is 0. That's why h is 0. Then potential energy is 0. But sum of these two is equal to this one or not, we cannot say. So we have to express this v in terms of h. So when you consider the motion from A to C, initial velocity is 0. Acceleration, as the body is falling freely, acceleration plus z, and displacement is equal to, from this point to this point, that is equal to height from which it is dropped, and velocity is equal to, velocity acquired is equal to v only. Okay, so relation among them, v square minus u square is equal to 2as. V square means v only, u 0, 2 a means g, s means h. So v square is equal to 2gh. Therefore, kinetic energy k is equal to half m v square. That is equal to half m into, v square means 2z into h. 2 to cancel. Therefore, mgh. It is the kinetic energy. Therefore, total energy at C is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. Kinetic energy mgh plus potential energy is 0, no? Therefore, total energy at C is equal to mg into h. It is the third equation. So, in case of freely falling body, while the body is coming down, work is done by the gravitational force or work is done by the conservative force. Due to that, the total mechanical energy should not be changed. So from this, it is clear that the total mechanical energy of a freely falling body at different points remains same from equations 1, 2, 3. Hence, the law of conservation of mechanical energy is proved in case of freely falling body also. If air is there, then work is done by the air resistance. Air resistance means viscous force. In such case, mechanical energy is not conserved. But here, no air resistance is there. Only work is done by gravity. In such case only, In such case, only total mechanical energy is constant in case of vertically projected body or freely falling body. What, Charan? What is your doubt? What, Charan? What is your doubt? Charan, you mentioned the chart box. Charan, what is your doubt? No. Total energy remains constant everywhere. Total energy remains constant everywhere. But kinetic energy is kinetic energy is maximum before it reaches the ground. And potential energy is maximum at the highest point. That's all. But total mechanical energy remains constant because work is done by the conservative force or gravitational force only. That's why total mechanical energy does not alter. But one form of energy will be converted into another form. That is only the case. If any external work is done by any external agent like external forces, then in such case the kinetic energy, the total mechanical energy will be changed. But here no external forces act. Okay. If this case in water is not correct, does not obey, because in water, viscous force acts on the body because of water. Viscous force acts on the body because of water. That's why in that case mechanical energy is not conserved. Mechanical energy is not conserved. By viscous force, some work is done against the motion. That's why some part of the mechanical energy will be lost. That's why total mechanical energy will be reduced when the body is in motion in water. In water, or if any air resistance is there, total mechanical energy is not constant. If only work is done by conservative force alone, in such case only, okay, in such case only the total mechanical energy remains constant or conserved. Harsha, you stopped your video. Harsha, మీకు వినిపించదా చెప్తా ఉంటే? Okay, now in case of last one, in case of simple pendulum, we have to check the law of conservation of energy principle, mechanical energy principle. Third one. Third one, simple pendulum. Suppose here, already you know the construction of the simple pendulum. By means of inextensible light string, is suspend a heavy point mass, and a mass size of this heavy mass is negligible. That's why heavy point mass M. Okay, it is pulled aside through an angle theta, and it is released. Then it makes oscillations to and fro like this now. Whenever the bob of the pendulum is at the point A, it is the point of suspension O. Whenever the bob of the pendulum is at A, actually, originally, the bob of the pendulum is here at the lowest point of its journey. That is say B. B is the lowest point. Okay, it is the highest point in their path. So this lowest point you take as the reference line. It is reference line. At the reference line, we can consider the potential energy 0 or potential energy minimum. At the lowest point, potential energy is minimum or 0. At the highest point, from the reference level, as the body is at greatest height, the potential energy is maximum. So at this point, at A, potential energy is maximum, and kinetic energy, as whenever the body is at the extreme position, right extreme position, velocity is 0. That's why potential energy, kinetic energy is minimum or 0. Kinetic energy is 0 at extreme position. Here A is the right extreme position. Extreme position. After reaching the point A, it will come back to it will come back, but it will not go ahead from the point A. That's why it is called the extreme position. At this point, velocity V is equal to 0. Whenever it reaches the point B, it passes through the point B with more maximum velocity. That's why velocity is maximum at B. While it is traveled like this, the velocity of the bob when it passing through this point B is maximum. Okay, so kinetic energy is maximum at this point. Now So at A, total mechanical energy at A is equal to maximum potential energy at this point U max plus minimum kinetic energy K minimum. That is equal to minimum kinetic energy means zero only. Maximum potential energy means, suppose from this point B, whenever it reaches the point A, what is the vertical height up to which the body travel? This is the vertical height. That is say y1. So potential energy is equal to, at this point, maximum potential energy is equal to mg into y1 plus at this point A, as velocity is zero, kinetic energy is equal to zero. What is potential energy? What is y1 value? We have to find. You see, the length of the pendulum is say L. This length is equal to L. So this is also equal to L only, no? This is also equal to L only, no? Whenever the bob of the pendulum displaces through an angle theta from vertical, then what is the projection of this length on vertical side? That means this length is how much? L cos theta, no? L cos theta. Now what about y1? mg into, what about y1? From the diagram, y1 means from this total length L, you subtract L cos theta. That is equal to y1, no? That's why y1 can be written as L minus L cos theta. L you take common, 1 minus cos theta. This is the potential energy. Therefore, it is a total energy. Therefore, total energy at A is equal to mg L into 1 minus cos theta. It is the total energy at A. Next, total energy at B. Total energy at B. Total mechanical energy. Energy means total mechanical energy. Total mechanical energy at B. Total mechanical energy at A is equal to this one. Total mechanical energy at B. Whenever the bob of the pendulum reaches the point B, at B, as the velocity becomes maximum here. Because you see, whenever the bob of the pendulum comes from this position to this position, it comes lower side because of gravity. That's why whenever the body comes down here, the potential energy decreases now. Whenever the, according to conservation of energy principle, mechanical energy principle, whenever the potential energy decreases, kinetic energy increases, but total mechanical energy remains constant. Here work is done by the gravity only. Is there any work is done by the tension the force, tension the string? What are the forces acts on the bob? Tell me first. What are the forces acts on the bob? Weight of the bob acts vertically downwards direction and tension acts on the bob along the length of the string in upward direction. These are the real forces acts on the bob of the pendulum. So whenever the bob, whenever you release the bob here, the weight component acts in this direction. When you resolve the weight into components, the weight component mg, you see, if it is theta, this is theta. Weight component acts on the bob towards in this direction. That's why, because of weight component, the bob comes in this direction. That means displacement of the bob at this point is along the tangential direction drawn at this point to this arc of the circle. So in this direction, that is perpendicular to the tension. That's why, is there any work is done by the tension on the bob of the pendulum while it is travel like this? No work is done. Work done by tension is zero. So only the work is done by the component of the gravitational force or weight component mg sin theta. Work is done by weight component mg sin theta means that is the work done by conservative force. When work is done by the conservative force, here the total mechanical energy does not change. One form of energy will be converted into another form. That's why at this point A, it is having, if you take the lowest point of the body as the reference line, reference point, whenever the body is at A, it is at a height y1. That's why potential energy at that point is equal to this one. Kinetic energy is zero as velocity is zero. So total mechanical energy is this one. Similarly, whenever it reaches the point here, because of gravity, some work is done by the gravity on the bob while coming from A to B. Due to that, the total mechanical energy does not change, but because of gravity, as the work is done by the gravity on the bob is positive. That's why potential energy gradually decreases and it becomes minimum when it reaches the lowest point in their path. So as this lowest point only taken as the reference line, potential energy at this point becomes minimum or zero. Potential energy at this point is minimum or zero. Okay, so that's why at point B, because it is the lowest point or it is the reference level, at the reference level we consider the potential energy as zero. That's why U minimum is equal to zero. And here you see, here there is some total mechanical energy is there. kinetic energy plus potential energy. Potential energy is maximum, kinetic energy is 0. But whenever it reaches the point here, total potential energy is lost, no? That becomes minimum, no? Or 0, no? That loss of potential energy is totally converted into kinetic energy at this point. So what is the kinetic energy there? So kinetic energy at that point B is equal to half m into maximum velocity square. Maximum velocity square. Okay. Therefore, what is Vmax? You apply when motion is considered from A to B. Initial velocity is 0 along because gravitational force acts along vertical direction. That's why initial velocity is 0 at this point. Okay. And whenever it reaches the, or you apply the conservation of energy principle. Okay. Along the direction of the gravitational force acts on the body, initial velocity is 0. Initial velocity here is 0. Velocity of the body at this point is equal to Vmax. Okay. Then what about the conservation of, how we can find the velocity at this point? You apply the conservation of energy principle at that point. Total energy here is equal to mgx. Already we got mg L into 1 minus cos theta. At this point, total energy is equal to U minimum plus kinetic energy. Sum of these two, that is the total energy. Okay. When you consider the motion at this point, U is equal to 0. Okay, you apply the conservation of energy principle. According to that, total energy at A is equal to total energy at B. So total energy at B is equal to EB is equal to kinetic energy, maximum kinetic energy. This is Kmax plus minimum potential energy is 0. It is the total energy of the body at B. As this becomes 0, because we have considered this as the reference line, minimum potential energy is 0. So maximum kinetic energy means half m V max square. This is the total energy of the body at that point. Okay. So here, if you apply the conservation of energy principle, as total energy at A and B are equal, as total energy at A and B are equal according to law of conservation of mechanical energy, total energy at A means only potential energy is there. mgl into 1 minus cos theta is equal to total energy at B means potential energy is 0, kinetic energy is maximum. That's why half m V max square. Cancel. Therefore, V max square is equal to, you do cross multiplication, 2gl into 1 minus cos theta. Therefore, maximum kinetic energy at this point B is equal to Kmax is equal to half m into V max square. That is equal to half m into V max square means 2gl into 1 minus cos theta. 2 to cancel. So mgl into 1 minus cos theta. This is the maximum kinetic energy at the lowest point, or it is also called as the mean position. You see, here at the point A, total mechanical energy is this one. At the point B, as the potential energy is 0, total energy is equal to kinetic energy only, which is equal to mgl into 1 minus cos theta. That's why total energy at B is equal to half, sorry, you write this one, mgl into 1 minus cos theta. It is 2. Similarly, so therefore, at any point, the total mechanical energy remains constant in case of simple pendulum also. Therefore, total mechanical energy as EA is equal to EB, total mechanical energy remains constant at any point in case of simple pendulum. In case of simple pendulum. Hence, the simple pendulum also obeys the law of conservation of mechanical energy principle. Simple pendulum also obeys the law of conservation of mechanical energy principle. Okay. Simple pendulum also obeys the law of conservation of mechanical energy principle. Okay. Next. Therefore, this is about law of conservation of mechanical energy. Now some note points we have to discuss related to this. Okay, next. Now, some applications, some note points. First one. Suppose water is lifted from the here, or a body is lifted up to certain height. A body is lifted, or water tank. Suppose here water tank is there. Here it is the bucket. So here it is the water tank. Water tank is here. Water tank is at a height h from the surface of the water. Okay, by means of the bucket, the water tank is filled, or by means of motor, water tank is filled. Okay, in this case, what is the work to be done? Here, suppose there is a pipe. Instead of bucket, suppose motor is used. Motor is used. So from the surface of the water, by means of a pipe, water is lifted. So whenever the water reaches this height, the water ejects out with certain velocity, that velocity is say v. Suppose m mass of the water is lifted in a given time. Then what is the work to be done by the motor? Work to be done to lift the water and ejects with a velocity v to fill the water tank. This is water tank. That water tank is at a height h from the surface of the ground or surface of the water. Okay, what is the total work to be done here? Total work to be done is equal to, you see, here to lift the water from the surface up to a height h, the work done is equal to mgh. Work done by external agent against the gravity. Gravitational force pulls the water downwards, but by external agent like motor, electrical motor, some work is done and it is lifted to a height h. That's why gain in potential energy is equal to mgh. Plus at the same time, water ejects with a velocity v. That's why that water is having some kinetic energy. So that motor gives or imparts this amount of kinetic energy to the water also. That's why this is the total amount of work to be done to eject the water with a velocity v at this height. What is the power, they may ask? Power means already you know. Power is equal to rate of doing work. Suppose in a time t seconds the work done is say v. Then work done per second, which is called rate of doing work. Rate of doing work is called power. So power is equal to work by time. So what is in this case? What is the work done by the motor? They may ask. Work done by the motor per second, or what is the power consumed by the motor? They may ask. So power consumed by motor, power used by motor, or consumed by motor. Power consumed by motor is equal to work by time. Work means this one, mgh plus half mv square by time taken t. Sometimes will be given efficiency of the motor is efficiency eta is equal to eta. Efficiency means work utilized by total work. Actually, what is the total amount of work done and what is the work utilized to us? That is the efficiency. Work utilized per total work. That is called work efficiency of the our body or efficiency of the motor. Efficiency of the motor. Suppose if efficiency of the motor is only 70%. If efficiency of motor is only 7%. 70%. Efficiency of the motor 7% means in the total power consumed, only 70% of power only utilized to do this work. Therefore, you see, as efficiency of the motor is 70%, suppose the total power of the motor is P. Efficiency 70% means in this total power consumed by the motor, only 70% of the power only utilized to do work. That's why, so 70% of this total power is equal to work done W by time taken T. This relation is very, very important. Work done means based on the given problem, we can calculate the work in different types. Suppose in this case, work done means mgh plus half mv square. In some other cases, by motor of the, in case of motorcycle, the velocity of the motorcycle is increased from v1 to v2 in a time t. The efficiency of the motorcycle is 80%. Then what is the power of the motorcycle, they may ask. In such case, that is a second one. If velocity of the body increases from v1 to v2 and efficiency is 80%, then power of motor P is equal to question mark. Here, as efficiency is 80%, total power utilized is equal to 80%. 80% of total power means this one. It is utilized to do work by time. Power is equal to work by time now. So as efficiency is 80%, the total 80% of total power is utilized to do work in a time t seconds. So what is the work done in this case? Initially velocity is v1. Because of work done by the motor in the vehicle, the velocity increased to v2. So what is the change in kinetic energy? Work done is equal to change in kinetic energy, no? So half m v2 square minus half m v1 square by time taken t. This is the relation. So what is the actual power? What is the SI unit of power? Power is equal to, power P is equal to work by time. That means SI unit. Power means work by time. Work means joule, per time means second. Or it is also called as the watt. As what is the scientist saying? It is when you represent with symbol, then capital W we have to write. It is the watt. In CS unit, erg per second. Practical unit. Horsepower, HP. Horsepower, capital H, capital P. 1 horsepower is equal to how many watts? Tell me. 1 horsepower is equal to how many watt? 1 horsepower, 746 watt. Very good. In our water pumps are there, in pumping motors there, no? Water pumping motors. They are given in horsepower only. Their power is given in horsepower only. 0.5 horsepower, 1 horsepower, 1 HP motor, 0.5 HP motor. That's they use like this. Okay, generally in our household supply they use 0.5 HP motor. In apartments they use 1 HP or 2 HP like that. Okay. Remaining work is utilized. Remaining work is wasted to overcome the friction. The 20% loss is there, no? The 20 power of energy, the 20% of power is lost to overcome the friction in doing work, to overcome the friction. Okay. Yeah, 3 HP motor, 2 HP motor like that they use in apartments. For individual houses, 0.5 HP, that is enough, or 1 HP maximum, that is enough. Okay. Yeah, in every motor horsepower is mentioned. Horsepower, 1 horsepower means 746 watt. Okay. Next. Okay, now we have, I want to, tomorrow I will explain, I will discuss the equilibrium conditions. They are simple. Now I'm going to do some problems. Okay, we'll do some problems. Okay. Some miscellaneous problems, extra problems. So based on these miscellaneous problems, we can do some more problems in our material or in any assignment given. Okay, some miscellaneous problems we will do. Okay. First problem. A block of mass 2 kg. I will send this PDF file to you I keep in WhatsApp group. Okay, it is not presented right now. A block of mass 2 kg is hanging over a smooth and light pulley through a light string. The other end of the string is pulled by a constant force F is equal to 40 Newton at T is equal to 0. The system is at rest as shown. Then in the time interval from T is equal to 0 to T is equal to 2 by root 10 seconds. Pick up the correct statement. Okay, here you see. All of you listen the problem carefully. Here a block of mass 2 kg is hanging over the smooth and light pulley through a light string. Here there is a pulley. Here there is a pulley, light pulley. A string is passed over the light pulley like this. Okay, here one block having some mass. A block of mass 2 kg. A block of mass 2 kg is suspended at this end. At the other end, by applying the force F is equal to 40 Newton, it is pulled like this. Okay, here mass of the block is 2 kg given. Now, what is then in the time interval from T is equal to 0 to T is equal to 2 by root 10 seconds. What is the tension in the string? What is the work done by gravity? What is the work done by tension on the block? We have to find. So first, what is the tension in the string? Suppose when you pull the string in this downwards direction, this block rises or not? You tell me first. The weight mg acts vertically downwards direction. G is equal to 10. M is 2. 20 Newton acts in this direction, and by means of string, it is pulled down with a force 40 Newton. As the string is pulled at this point in downwards direction with a force 40 Newton, at the same time, the same tension is developed here because no body is here. The same tension acts in this direction. The same tension acts in this direction. The same tension acts in this direction. Tension is always away from the body. Here, as the string is pulled with a force 40 Newton, the same tension is developed equal to 40 Newton in the string here. This tension pulls the block upwards. Weight of the body is equal to only 20 Newton, but tension is 40. That's why definitely body will move upwards now with acceleration. Net force acts on the block in upward direction means 40 minus 20. That is the net force in upward direction. Hence, block will accelerate upwards. Here, what is the tension of the string? They asked. As no block is here, directly as the string is pulled downwards with a force 40 Newton, the tension of the string is also 40. So, tension is equal to pulling force, that is equal to 40 Newton. So, this is one answer. Tension they asked. Okay, next B. Work done by gravity they asked. Work done by gravity. Work by gravity on the block. WG is equal to question mark. Here we see, while the block move upwards, the gravitational force 20 Newton acts on the block downwards. Even then block move upwards. In T is equal to 2 by root 10 seconds, what is the distance traveled by the body? Or what is the height up to which the body travels against the gravity? First, we have to calculate this one. Initial velocity of the block is 0. Acceleration is equal to how much? First, we have to calculate. You see, whenever the block move upwards, tension acts on the block upwards and weight downwards. Even then, as the block move upwards, T greater than mg, no? That's why net force acts on the block is equal to T minus mg. That is equal to m into A. T means 40 minus mg means 20 is equal to mass of the block 2 into acceleration A. That implies A is equal to 10, no? A is equal to 10. So A we know 10 meter per second square. In a time T is equal to 2 by root 10 seconds. What is the displacement of the body? What is the displacement? That is equal to H. That is equal to question mark. So what is the relation? From S is equal to UT plus half AT square. S means we have to calculate H. U 0. Half. A means 10. T square means 4 by 10. 2 2s are. That is equal to 2 only, no? H is equal to 2 meter. Okay. Therefore, work done by gravity is equal to Fs cos theta, general formula. F means work done by gravity only we have to find. That's why gravitational force acts in downwards direction. That is mg. Displacement is in this time interval, displacement is h upwards into cos. Displacement is upwards, gravity is downwards. That's why cos 180. Therefore, of course, you need not write directly minus, you put weight means 20 Newton into h means 2 into cos 180 minus 1. Therefore, work done by gravity is equal to minus 40 joule. It is the work done by gravity. So work done by gravity is minus 40 joule, but answer given is minus 20. So that is not correct. Tension is 40 given. So this is correct. Tension is correct, but work done by gravity is minus 20 given. So it is not correct. Next, work done by tension. Work done by tension. What is the work done by tension? How we can calculate? Why 180? Already I said no. Displacement of the body is upwards, gravitational force downwards. So what is the angle between them? Siddharth. Right. So here, see, what is the work done by tension? They asked. What is the work done by tension? How we can calculate? Tension acts on the body upwards and the displacement of the body also upwards. That's why work done by tension is equal to tension force into displacement of the body into cos. T upwards, S also upwards. Therefore 0. Cos 0, 1. That's why T into S. Tension is equal to already 40 we got. Into displacement is 2 meter. Okay, this is equal to T into H, no? H is 2 meter. That's why 8 is joule. So work done by tension is equal to 8 is joule. Okay. That is correct. Okay, these are the answers. Next. Next one. Heavy rain is falling outside. Okay. Next problem, you see, a pendulum bob of mass m, length L. A pendulum bob of, I will keep this assignment in WhatsApp group. At this present, it is not prepared. That's why I'm now unable to share the screen questions. Okay, you listen carefully. A pendulum of bob mass m and length L is hanged freely from a rigid support. Work done to change the position of the bob from 30 degree to 60 degree with vertical. Here, second problem. Initially, the bob of the pendulum makes an angle 30 degree with vertical. It is theta 1. Okay, now it is turned through 60 degree with vertical. It is turned through 60 degree to vertical, like this. Theta 2 is equal to 60 degree. That means from 30 degree to 60 degree to turn. What is the work done in this case? Work done, they asked. Here, the bob of the pendulum is just turned from this position to this position. That's all. Here velocity 0, here velocity 0. Okay, whenever the bob of here velocity here is 0, velocity here is also 0. Okay, then what is the work to be done in this case? That is the question. Okay, now whenever the bob is turned from this position to this position, actually it is the lowest position of the bob. It is the lowest position. Okay, now you take this lowest position of the bob as the reference line. You take this as the reference line. Initially, whenever the bob is at A, it is at a height h1. When the bob is at B, the height of the bob, vertical height of the bob from the reference line is h2. It is the reference line you take. So when the bob displaces from this position to this position, what is the work done? Not by gravity, they asked. What is the work done simply they ask it. That means work done by external agent or external force they may ask. So what is the work done by gravity means you will get negative, because whenever the body travel in this direction, the height increases, but whereas the gravitational force acts in downwards direction. That's why work is done against the gravity. So negative work is done by the gravity. But here they did not ask what is the work done by gravity. Work done they asked. That means by external force we have to find. Without external force we cannot move like this now. That's why to find the external work done here, you see, initial, whenever the bob is here, the initial potential length is UA. Whenever the bob is here, the final potential length is say UB. Then work done by external agent is equal to, work done by external agent is equal to, W is equal to, just change in potential energy means final potential energy minus initial potential energy. Work done by gravity means work done by conservative force is equal to minus of delta U, minus of UF minus UY. Work done by external agent is equal to UF minus UY. Final potential energy means from the reference line, the bob of the pendulum is at a height h2. That's why mz h2. Initial potential energy is mz h1. Okay, therefore you take mz common. Mz of h2 minus h1. What about h2 minus h1? From the diagram you see, the total length of the pendulum is say L. Then their component along vertical direction means this one. That is equal to L cos 60, no? L cos 60, because this angle is 60, no? So L cos 60. It is L cos 60. So it is the projection of the length of the pendulum on vertical. Similarly, whenever the bob is here, what is the projection? Means this one. It is L cos 30, no? So now H2 means, what about H2? H2 means this is the height. This total length is L. From that you subtract this L cos 60. That means L minus L cos 60. L minus L cos 60 is H2 minus H1. This, from this total length you subtract this one, L cos 30. L minus L cos 30. So this is equal to, of course, L minus L cancel. Then minus L cos 60 minus plus L cos 30. So mz into L you take common. L of cos 30 minus cos 60. Of course, when the angle made by the bob of the pendulum is changed from theta 1 to theta 2, work done is equal to mzl into cos theta 1 minus cos theta 2. That is equal to mzl into cos 30 root 3 by 2 minus cos 60 1 by 2. Therefore, work done is equal to, here I think data is given. No, data is not given. Directly it is given like this only. So here, when you simplify them, you take LCM, mzl by 2 of root 3 minus 1. No? This is the work done by external agent. What is the work done by gravity? If they ask, work done by gravity means, work done by gravity is equal to minus of delta U. That means minus of UF minus UI. UF minus UI means work done by external agent. Work done by external force or external agent. That is equal to this one. Work done by gravity means minus of UF minus UI means we got this one. This one. So mzl by 2 of root 3 minus 1. So this is the work done by gravity. You will get negative. Next one, good problem, very, very important problem. Definitely they may ask in advance or mains. That problem is most important. Next one. This one, Radha Krishna. Are you asking this one? Which step you are asked? Which step you asked me? Radha Krishna. Which step you asked me, Radha Krishna? Okay. You see, actually, why I use this one? Already we know. I will explain here. Just listen. Of course, this is over. Net work done by all the forces is equal to change in kinetic energy Kf minus Ki. We know. Net work done means what are the forces acts on the body here? One, now definitely whenever the bob is pulled like this, definitely some external force acts. Work is done by external force plus work done by tension may be there, work done by gravitational force. These are the cases in which work is done. So net work done means this one. Net work done is equal to change in kinetic energy delta K. Here initially the bob is at rest, here also bob is at rest. That's why final kinetic energy is 0, initial kinetic energy is 0. That is equal to 0. Since Ki is equal to Kf is equal to 0. Okay. Work done by external agent plus, what about work done by tension here? What is the work done by tension? Spring concept is not in this week. Related to spring, those problems are, the concept is not in this week. Okay. So what is the work done by tension here? 0. Because tension is in this direction, but displacement is along tangential direction. Both are perpendicular. That's why work done by tension 0 plus work done by gravity Wg. Okay, that is equal to 0. Or work done by external agent is equal to minus Wg. Minus work done by gravity means, you know, minus delta U. That is equal to minus or minus plus delta U. Delta U means final potential energy minus initial potential energy. I use it that only, you know. Work done by external agent is equal to final potential energy minus initial potential energy. Work done by gravity is equal to minus of final potential energy minus initial potential energy. Okay. Right. Okay. Here, H2 means, you see, H2 means whenever the bob is here, the height of the bob from the reference line, that is H2. This is H2. Okay. Here, this total length is L. Whenever the bob is here, this component of this length along vertical direction means this one, that is equal to L cos 60. From this L, you subtract L cos 60, then you will get H2. Otherwise, we can do like this also. As it is, this is H2 and this is H1. H2 minus H1 means this only, no? H2 minus H1 is this only. That means the projection of this on vertical line is equal to, this one is equal to L cos 60. This one is equal to L cos 60. It is L cos 30. L cos 30 minus L cos 60 is this H2 minus H1. Directly we can write like this also. Okay. Next problem is very, very important. Okay. Next problem, very, very important problem. You listen. A block of weight. Third problem. A block of weight W is dragged across the horizontal floor from A to B by a constant vertical force P acting at the end of the rope. Calculate the work done on the block by the force P is equal to √3 plus 1 Newton. Assume the block does not lift up the floor. G is equal to 10. Okay. So here it is the smooth horizontal surface. Initially one block is here. The block is pulled by means of a rope. Light frictionless pulley it is. The rope is passed over the light frictionless pulley, and at the other end, by using a pulling force P is equal to by using the pulling force √3 plus 1 Newton, √3 plus 1 Newton, it is pulled downwards. This end of the rope is pulled downwards. Of course, the mass of the block is, weight of the block is W directly given. At initial, whenever the rope of this free end of the rope is pulled with a force, this one, at initial, the angle between the rope and the horizontal, that is equal to 30 degree. So theta 1 is equal to 30 degree. Okay, now the height of this pulley from the bottom is H. H is equal to root 3 meter given. Root 3 meter. H is equal to root 3 meter given. Of course, G is 10 meter per second square. Okay, now, okay, when you pull the rope in this direction, then what about the block? In which direction the block will move? Tell me. Towards right. So in this direction the block moves. Suppose the block comes to this position. The block comes to this position. At that time the rope is like this, no? At that time the angle made by the rope with horizontal is 60 degree. Is the angle increase or not? Whenever the block approaches here, is the angle increase or not decrease? When the block move forward, the angle increase, no? At the instant whenever the angle made by this rope with horizontal is 60, at that time what is the work done, they asked. Here the displacement of the block from this position to this position is say x. Actually when the rope is pulled in this direction, why the block move in this direction? Which force pulls the block in this direction towards right? When the rope is pulled in this direction along vertically downwards direction, how the block will move in this direction? Due to which force the block will move? Tension component, no? T cos theta. Okay, if it is theta, then tension component is T cos theta. You write general T cos theta. Actually, as it is the rope, light rope, whatever the force with which this end of the rope is pulled, the same tension acts in this direction, the same tension acts in this direction. Their component acts on the block towards right. So this T cos theta pulls the block towards right. T cos theta pulls the block towards right. As long as the block move towards right, what about the angle? As long as the block move towards right, what about the angle? Whenever the block move towards right because of this tension component in this horizontal direction, what about the angle? Angle made by the string with horizontal changes, no? Of course, increase means changes. That's why along the horizontal direction, the component of tension T cos theta is not constant. T is constant because it is the same rope and it is pulled with the same force. That's why tension is constant. But the tension component along horizontal direction is not constant. That means variable force acts on the block towards right. Variable force acts on the block towards right. Whenever the variable force acts on the block towards right, in that case, in order to find the work done, first we have to find small work done to displace the block through a small distance. Suppose if the constant force is acting, then constant force into direct displacement x gives the work done. But as long as the block moves towards right, the component of the tension acts on the block is not constant. It varies with angle. That's why for small displacement dx, the work done is equal to dw. dw is equal to small force component acts along horizontal direction into a small displacement dx. That is equal to fx means T cos theta. In general, you write T cos theta into dx. This is a small work done. Okay, this is equation 1. How we can find this dx value? Because dx we cannot say. Dx we cannot say. Okay. So here for that, suppose it is say x naught, or you say this is this length as displacement of the block as s. This is a s. Suppose this vertical line is here. From this reference point, suppose this block is at a distance x initially. Now to obtain dx value, you take the relation between x and this height is fixed, no? Height is fixed. Whenever the block move towards right, then x value decreases due to that theta value changes. Because of change in theta value, x value decreases. These two are only variable when you take this side as one of the sides of the triangle. From this triangle, you take sine theta. At any instant, whenever the string makes an angle theta with horizontal, then you take tan theta. Tan theta is equal to opposite side h by adjacent means x. H by x. Here, even the block move like this, h does not change, no? That's why whenever block move towards right, x value changes and theta value changes. These only the variables. Therefore, from this, x is equal to, we can write h cot theta, no? X is equal to h cot theta. Okay. Now you differentiate this x with respect to theta because x value depends on theta or theta value depends on x. That's why dx by d theta is equal to d by d theta of h cos theta. That is equal to h is constant. Even the block move like this, h does not change. It is fixed. This vertical height of the pulley is fixed. H you write outside. D by d theta of it is cot theta, no? Cot theta. H into what about d by d theta of cot theta? Differentiation of cot theta is what? Already I said in the class at the beginning. Minus cosecant theta, no? Minus cosecant theta or cosecant square theta? D by d theta of cos theta is equal to minus cosecant theta or cosecant square theta? Minus cosecant square theta, not cosecant theta. Minus cosecant square theta. Therefore, dx is equal to minus h into cosecant square theta into d theta. This is very, very important relation. Second equation. What is the importance of the minus sign there? What is the importance of the minus sign? As long as the block moves towards right, x value decreases. That's why here there is a decrease in x value. This minus sign represents negative sign represents decrease in x value. That's all. Decrease in x value. It has no further importance. Therefore, magnitude of displacement of the block is equal to h cosecant square theta into d theta. Therefore, small work done dw is equal to, we are having t cos theta into dx now. Therefore, t cos theta into dx means h cosecant square theta into d theta. That is equal to th into cos theta into cosecant square theta means 1 by sin square theta, no, into d theta. That is equal to th into cos theta by 1 sin theta is equal to tan theta. Remaining 1 by sin theta is there, cosecant theta. So cosecant theta into, we can write cot theta, no? Cos theta by sin theta is equal to cot theta. 1 by sin theta is there. That can be written as cosecant theta into d theta. This is dw. Therefore, this is the work to be done, work done by the rope or tension on the block to displace the block through a small distance dx to change the angle d theta. Total work done, net work done by the rope in displace the block so that the angle made by the rope with horizontal changes from theta 1 to theta 2. This is theta 2, say. Therefore, total work done is equal to integral dw, integral th cosecant theta cot theta into d theta. Limits theta 1 is equal to initial angle 30 to 60. Theta 2 is equal to 60. Therefore, work done is equal to th. These are constant, no? Even the block move in this direction, as no change in the force, pulling force here, same tension acts. So T constant. Even the block move towards right, h does not change. This value is fixed. So th is constant. You write outside into integral theta 1 to theta 2 cosecant theta into cot theta into d theta. That is equal to what? What is the integral cosecant theta into cot theta? What is the integral cosecant theta into cot theta d theta? Integral cosecant theta into cot theta, cosecant theta into cot theta d theta gives what? Tell me. Minus cosecant theta cot, minus cosecant theta, no? Actually, d by d theta of cosecant theta is equal to d by d theta of cosecant theta is equal to minus cosecant theta cot theta. Okay, that's why here we can write minus cosecant theta cot theta. Sorry, d by d theta of cosecant theta is equal to minus cosecant theta cot theta. Our integral of cosecant theta cot theta is equal to minus cosecant theta. That's why this is equal to th of minus cosecant theta. Limits theta 1 is equal to 30 degree to 60 degree. This is equal to, what is the tension? Tension is equal to P only. Tension is equal to P only. That's why P means root 3 plus 1 into H. H is equal to root 3 into, substitute the data. Here cosecant theta means 1 by sin theta. We can write th into, of course you can write minus 1 by sin theta. 30 degree to 60 degree. Okay, minus 1 by sin 60 means root 3 by 2. So you write root 3 by 2 means into 2. Minus 1 by 2. Because 1 by sin 30. When you substitute the lower limit, you have to put minus sign. Minus or minus plus you will get. Plus 1 by sin 30 means 1 by 2. So if you simplify them, then work done W is equal to, you take root 3 plus 1 into root 3. You take LCM. LCM, you take 2 common and LCM root 3. Then what you will get? Root 3 minus 1, no? Root 3 minus 1 you will get. Root 3 cancel. Root 3 plus 1, root 3 minus 1 means a plus b into a minus b. A square minus b square means 3 minus 1, 2. 2 into 2, 4. Therefore, work done is equal to 4 joule. Work done by the rope or work done by the tension in the rope on the block in displacing the block so that angle made changes from 30 to 60 is 4 joule. That is the answer. Okay. Here, in this, I substituted the angles. Okay, you simplify them. Already I substituted up to this, already it is there. You simplify them. Then you will get work done is equal to 4 joule. After simplification, you will get work done is equal to 4 joule. Okay. So this is one good problem. Next. One more problem that is also excellent problem, good problem, but simple, good problem. Okay, next problem. Fourth problem. All of you listen the problem. A block of mass 10 kg is released on a fixed wedge inside the cart, which is moving with a constant velocity 10 meters per second towards right. The initial velocity of the block with respect to cart is 0. Then work done by the normal reaction on block with respect to ground in 2 seconds is how much? Okay, here there is a cart. Here there is a cart. Here this cart is moving towards right with a velocity 10 meters per second square. Sorry, velocity 10 meters per second. One block is kept on the inclined plane. One block is kept on the inclined plane whose angle of inclination theta is equal to 37 degree. G is equal to, of course, 10 meters per second square is given. Suppose if friction is not there for the block, here in between the block and inclined surface, if friction is not there, is the block comes down or not? You tell me. Is the block comes down or not? If the friction is not there between the block and inclined surface, if the cart is moving in forward direction with this velocity, is the block slides down or not? It comes down. Suppose if it is moving with certain acceleration, is it, if it is here it is smooth say, in between block and inclined surface there is no friction. In between the block and inclined surface there is no friction. If the cart is moving towards right with certain acceleration, is it possible to keep the block at rest or not on the inclined plane? Yes, we can keep the block in rest. When you move the cart with an acceleration g tan theta, I already said in Newton's laws of motion. Okay, because when the cart is moving with certain acceleration, pseudo force acts on the block in this direction. The pseudo force component acts on the block upwards along the inclined plane. Weight component acts in downwards direction. Whenever these two are equal, then the block is under equilibrium with respect to cart. Even this cart is not moving with certain acceleration. Here it is moving with constant velocity only. Whenever it is moving with constant velocity, is there any pseudo force acts on the block towards left? When the cart is moving with constant velocity towards right, is there any pseudo force acts on the block towards left? No pseudo force acts on them. So what are the forces acts on the block? What are the forces acts on the block? Definitely weight component, of course, mg sin theta acts downwards direction. Of course, weight mg acts downwards direction. When you divide into components, if it is theta, this is theta. This component is mg cos theta, it is mg sin theta. Okay, now you see here the block pushes the inclined plane, normal to inclined plane in this direction with a force equal to mg cos theta. So normal action acts in this direction. Along this, okay, along here, as the block is at rest with respect to cart or with respect to wedge or with respect to inclined plane, then along this perpendicular to inclined plane, there is no motion for the block. That's why normal action is equal to weight component mg cos theta. Okay, next. Because of weight component mg sin theta, whenever the block try to comes down, definitely friction acts in opposite direction. Otherwise, there is no possibility for the block to keep at rest with respect to inclined plane. Okay. Pseudo force formula is ma, no? Pseudo force formula is ma. A is the acceleration of the cart. Is there an acceleration in the cart? It is moving with constant velocity, no, Hemant. Constant velocity means acceleration 0. That's why no pseudo force acts. Okay. Right. Now you see here with respect to cart or with respect to wedge, block is at rest. Whenever the block is at rest, in the given time, whatever the distance traveled by the cart, the block also travel in the through same distance when you observe from the ground. No? So from the ground, when you observe with respect to ground, displacement of block along horizontal direction. Displacement of block along horizontal direction. Displacement of block along horizontal direction, S is equal to, you see, whenever the block is at rest with respect to cart or with respect to inclined plane, through what distance the cart travel in the given time, the same distance the block also travel in horizontal direction. That's why V into T. V, of course, what is the time in which they ask the work done? In a time 2 seconds. So T is equal to 2 seconds. So V means 10. Because as this block is at rest with respect to cart, whatever the velocity with which the cart travel, with the same velocity along horizontal direction, the block also travel. That's why velocity of the block is 10 into time taken 2. That's called 20 meter. So displacement of the block in this direction is 20 meter. But they ask the work done by normal reaction. Work by normal reaction, they ask it. Normal reaction. That means Wn is equal to question mark. Whenever the displacement of the cart in this direction is S, then what is the displacement of the cart towards along the normal reaction direction? Because to find the work done by the normal reaction, displacement of the work along the normal reaction direction we have to find. Here, if it is theta, this is theta. Okay, this is 90 minus, it is theta. If then it is theta. If it is theta, it is 90 minus theta. 90 minus theta means that is equal to 53 degree, no? Because theta is 37. So the displacement component along the normal reaction, displacement along normal reaction is equal to S cos 53. S means 20, cos 53 means 3 by 5, no? That is equal to 12 meter. Therefore, work done by normal reaction, they ask it. Work done by normal reaction is equal to Fs cos theta, general formula. F means normal reaction. Displacement S. Displacement along the direction of normal reaction directly I wrote. That's why you need not write cos theta again. Because displacement component along this normal reaction direction is equal to S sin theta, no? S cos 90 minus theta means S sin theta. Okay, that is equal to 12 meter. So in this direction, this is equal to 12 meter. Therefore, work done by normal action is equal to normal action into displacement along this direction, S sin theta. N means, what is the N value? Normal action. We did not calculate, I think. Okay, we had calculate mg cos theta. Mg cos theta means cos 37 into S sin theta is equal to 12. mg value is directly given, I think. Weight of the block is directly given as, no, mass of the block is given 10. G is 10. Cos 37, 4 by 5 into 12. 5 2s are. Okay. So 960, no? 960 joules. So work done by normal action is 960 joules. This is the answer. What is the work done by gravity in this case? What is the work done by gravity in this case? What is the work done by gravity? Because the block travel along horizontal direction, whereas the gravitational force acts in vertically downwards direction. There is no component of gravity along horizontal. There is no component of displacement along vertical. That's why no work is done by gravity in this case. Work done by gravity is equal to 0. Work done by gravity is 0. So this is one problem. Okay, next. Fifth problem. Yeah, perpendicular to displacement, work, no work is done. Right, next, fifth problem. A block of mass 1 kg is projected from a point A along irregular rough inclined surface and reaches at the point B as shown in the figure. The coefficient of friction between the block and the inclined plane is 0.5 everywhere. Find the work done by the friction on the block if AC is equal to 1 meter. Here one inclined surface is given, but it is having irregular inclined surface like this. It is A, B, C. One block is projected upwards. So the block travel like this. The block travel like this. Okay. At any instant, whenever the block is here, coefficient of friction between the block and the inclined surface at any point is mu. That mu is given as 0.5. 0.5. AC is equal to 1 meter. This length is given. This is equal to 1 meter. Okay. You see here, whenever the block is travel like this along the curved path, always the angle of inclination changes. Suppose when the block is here, say, when this block is here, then the horizontally this one and inclined surface here, this is the inclined surface. It makes an angle theta in this direction. Then in this case, normal reaction means at the plane of contact, suppose this is the weight of the block is in this direction. Okay, now in this direction component here, if it is theta, it is 90 minus theta. So this is theta. This is mg cos theta. So normal action in this case is equal to mg cos theta. But as long as the block move like this, angle changes, no? Theta changes. When theta changes, normal action changes. When normal action changes, friction changes. That's why variable friction acts on the block. So when it travels from A to B, then along horizontal direction, the distance traveled is 1 meter. Then what is the work done by friction, they asked. What is the work done by friction, they asked. Suppose by means of friction, here whenever the block travel in this direction, then the frictional force acts along the tangential direction in opposite direction to the motion of the block. No, the block travel towards right, whereas the friction is in opposite direction. Okay, now to move the block through a small distance in this direction, the displacement of the block is say ds. Whenever the block displaces through a small distance ds in this direction, at the time the vertical distance traveled is a dy and the horizontal distance traveled is a dx. Then work done by friction, small, dwf is equal to frictional force F into displacement ds, but it is opposite, that's why minus f into ds. But what is ds? What is ds value here? You take tan, not tan theta, you take cos theta. Cos theta is equal to, we can write adjacent by hypotenuse, no, or ds is equal to dx by cos theta, we can write, no. So instead of ds you write minus f into ds by, here f and ds both are in opposite direction, that's why minus f into ds is the work done to displace the block through a small distance ds. Here ds means we can write f into ds means dx by cos theta, Okay, now mu into normal reaction, f means mu into normal reaction into dx by cos theta. So this is equal to dwf is equal to work done by friction to displace the body to a small distance ds is equal to this one minus mu into, what about normal reaction at this point? Normal reaction is equal to mg cos theta, no. So you write mg cos theta into dx by cos theta. Cos theta cancel, then that is equal to minus mu mg into dx. It is the work done by friction to displace the block through a small distance dx. Therefore total work done by the friction when it travel from a to b, work done by friction when the block travel from a to b is equal to integral dwf, limits from a to b. So integral dw means minus mu mg dx. Okay, that is equal to minus mu mg is constant, you write outside, integral dx, that is equal to minus mu mg into, whenever the block is at a, dx means that is the displacement of the block along horizontal direction, no? When the block is at a, x is equal to 0. When the block reaches the point b along x-axis, the block lies at c, that's why displacement x is equal to, this length is given as 1 meter, that's why 1 meter you write 1 meter. Therefore you substitute the limits, integral dx means x limits 0 to 1. Therefore work done by friction is equal to minus mu mg only, that is equal to minus mu means 0.5 into m means, what is the mass of the block? Mass of the block is given as 1 case and this is 1, so 1 into g value 10. Therefore work done by friction is equal to minus 5 joule. Minus 5 joule is the work done by friction. In this way you have to do, yeah, minus 5 joule, that is the answer. Okay, next, last problem. Last problem, sixth one. A particle is moved under a force of, F bar is equal to x into j cap Newton, where x is in meter, from O to A by 2 paths. A particle is moved from O to A along 2 paths. Here it is y, it is x, it is origin. So particle can be moved directly from O to A along this path or along this path also. It is the first path, it is the second path. The particle can be moved from OBA path or OA path to reach point A from O. Particle O nunchi A ki reach avaniki along the OA path directly, along the second path the particle can reach A, along the path OB, then from B to A the particle reaches the path A, point A. Then what is the work done in the both cases? So here, if W1, W2 are the work done by the force in two paths respectively. At first OBA path, path 1 is OBA. In this case, to move the particle from OBA path, work done is W1. To move the particle from O to A directly along the second path, work done is 2. Then they ask W1 by W2, that is equal to question mark. Here, whenever the X value increases, when X value increases, F value also increases. That means variable force. Variable force acts on the particle. Okay, now along the first path, what is the work done? First, we have to calculate. Along the first path means along this path. Work done is equal to work done to move the particle along this OB path plus work done to move the particle from B to A. That means WBA. Here, as the variable force acts on the particle, this is equal to integral. Integral, you see, along the path OB, whenever the particle travel, X changes. When X changes, F changes. Okay, that's why F bar dot dx bar along x-axis, that is the work done, plus along the y path means F bar dot dy bar, displacement along y-axis. Are you followed this one first? Are you followed this one? Yeah, work done is equal to work done in both the paths from O to B, B to A. O to B means only along x-axis. That's why F bar dot dx bar. Because when X changes, as the force also changes, variable force acts on them. That's why integral F dot dx. Next here, along y-axis, F bar dot dy bar. Now we substitute. Integral here F bar means x j cap. X j cap dot, it is the displacement along x-axis, no? That means dx into I cap we can write, plus integral F bar means x j cap dot dy bar means dy into j cap we can write. So this is equal to integral, it is 0, no? Because x dx into j cap dot I cap means 0. Integral x dx into j cap dot I cap, that becomes 0, plus integral, here x is constant, here along the path BA, x value does not change. You see, along the path BA, x value remains constant. Okay, that's why this x value is constant, you keep outside, into integral j cap dot j cap is 1, so into dy. Since j cap dot j cap is equal to 1 and j cap dot I cap is equal to 0, this is equal to 0 plus x into integral dy means y. In between which limits y value changes, as it is for from B to A, no? It is from O to B. O to B work done, B to A work done. Okay, so B to A means what are the limits? At B, y value is equal to 0. At A, y value means coordinates are given 1 meter comma 1 meter. So 0 to 1, y is equal to 0 to y is equal to 1 meter. So this is equal to, at this point, x is equal to 1 meter, no? From B to A path, x value is equal to 1 meter here, 1. Because at B, x coordinate is 1. That's why at any point here along vertical direction, x is equal to 1. So you substitute x is equal to 1. 1 into 1 minus 0, that is equal to 1 joule. So along the first path, the work done is equal to 1 joule. Of course, very clear. The force acts on the particle along y-axis. So in that case, when you move the particle along x-axis, no work is done. That's why you got 0. Only work is done along the y-axis. Next, what is the work done along the OA path, along second path? So along second path, work is done along the second path. W2 is equal to, along the second path, as long as the particle move in this direction, x value changes. That's why force also changes along vertical direction. Hence, work done is equal to integral F bar dot ds bar, or displacement vector. Because it is not along x-axis or not along y-axis. In general, along this path, displacement is a ds bar. Force is already given. Therefore, f bar dot ds bar. Integral f bar means we can write it is from O to A, no, directly. F bar means x j cap dot ds bar means here this is moving in xy plane. That's why dx into y cap plus dy into j cap. In previous case also same case, but as the particle travel along x-axis here with respect to dx we have taken, along y-axis dy we have taken. In this case also we can take like this only, f bar dot ds bar. Ds bar can be written like this. Then you split them, you will get the same answer like this. So here integral so when you make the dot product here, what is the value you will get? Along this line 1 1 given, you see along this line 1 1 1 1 means x component 1, y component 1 means this angle is 45 degree, no, that angle is 45 degree. Okay, so in this case at any point here, suppose this point coordinates are x comma y, then tan here you have to write along this path we are moving. That's why tan theta or tan 45 is equal to y by x we can write now, or y is equal to x we can write now. Therefore, integral you split them x dx into j cap dot I cap, that is equal to 0 plus dy. Dy is equal to dx only, no? Of course, you write first x j cap dot dy j cap. That means x into dy you will get. Okay, that is equal to, this becomes 0. So integral x dy from O to A, 0 to A. Here x is not constant. When the particle move along this direction, x value changes. Along this path, x value changes. But in previous case, when you move from B to A, as x is constant, we written outside the integration. But when you move along this path, x is not constant. You should not write outside. So x is also variable. Here, this x value can be written as y, no? So y into dy. Okay, limits. This is equal to, here what are the limits? We are integrating with respect to y. That's why limits. Whenever the particle is at O, y value is equal to 0. When particle is at A, y value is equal to 1. Therefore, integral y dy means y square by 2. Limits 0 to 1. That is equal to 1 by 2, no? Therefore, work done in the first path by work done in second path is equal to, work done in first path is 1 joule we got. Work done in second path is 1 by 2. That is equal to 2. Therefore, ratio between the work done in first path, work done in second path is equal to 2. This is the answer. Yeah, 2 joule. That is the answer. Okay, right. So I will send the assignment to you. Along with key and solutions, I send this assignment. So today you do. And some other important problems also I used to send. So you do those problems today. Okay. Tomorrow we'll do some more problems and I will discuss equilibrium. Equilibrium condition I will discuss. So in this week we have to do, this is Thursday now. Tomorrow we can do one assignment, very, very important assignment. Okay. Right. Right, Nana. Right. Have a nice day. I'm signing out. G value here.